All right, we're back with the Salem News reporters, -2 at the moment. Welcome back to Paul Leighton, senior reporter for the Salem News, covering Beverly, Salem, and odds and ends everywhere else as well. Paul, welcome back. How you doing?
Good, Rick. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You know, I was going to say big changes at the Salem News, but there's one big change, and noticeably absent, of course, is Dustin Luca, who is dearly departed now. He's a dearly good reporter and departed. I think, what is it, to Salem State now?
Yes. Yep. Yep. Yeah. No, we're really going to miss Dustin. We miss him already. And I was just telling you, Dustin has covered Salem for years, and he was such a dedicated reporter and thorough and enthusiastic. That's what I appreciated about him as a colleague. Some of this government stuff can get kind of routine and mundane, and he was always interested in it, and had a lot of energy. He was a great colleague. He would volunteer for stories. So yeah, we're really going to miss Dustin, but he's got a good situation at Salem State. He's not moving. He's not moving anywhere other than jobs. You know, he's staying in the area, so we'll be in touch with him. But yeah, we will really miss him at the Salem News.
Yeah, great storyteller too, and of course Caroline Enos, probably on assignment right now. She promised to try to be here today, but so far hasn't been able to check in. Hope she does. Caroline, a great writer as well, former student at Gloucester High School. I know her and her family very well. Great kid, doing a great job also with the Salem News. And one more thing before we get started, Paul. Those numbers on the wall behind you, are they lottery numbers? Are they betting numbers in terms of, I don't know, betting on the Celtics? What are those?
Yeah, I know. Maybe I should have bet on the Celtics. I would have been all right. But I'm actually in my youngest daughter's bedroom, where one of our window air conditioners is, and those are road race numbers. She was both my daughters ran cross country for Beverly High School, and we all run road races every once in a while. And so anyway, that's the history of her road racing career right behind us.
You know, again, I have to ask. It's like interviewing a coach. How did your kids get started in running?
Wow, that's a good question. We always did the Beverly homecoming race, at least. That was sort of, and we've done that for years. I think my oldest daughter, Sarah, and I have done it for 15 straight years. And Elizabeth, you know, my youngest daughter, who's room I'm in, so we did it by running local road races, you know, starting when they were like maybe 9 or 10 years old. And that was really fun. And then Beverly High, I know, like Gloucester, has a great track and cross country program. And they both ran cross country for Dave Jellison. So anyway, that's how they kept involved in, and now they still run. That's the one good thing about running, is that that is definitely one sport that you can continue to do after high school.
Yeah, you mentioned Dave Jellison, of course, a legend in running in the area. Yeah, and that's one thing. I mean, I ran for about 50 years before I got old.
Yeah.
So I'm walking, but it's good for the mind, and the body comes along for the ride.
Totally.
Paul, where are we? A lot going on. You're covering a huge geographic area now. Many things happening, and of course, a couple of big items statewide has been the budget and so on, but also affording housing, and actually affordable housing is at the top of the list. What's going on in your coverage?
Yeah, last week I covered a groundbreaking in Beverly at what's called the Anchor Point Affordable Housing Campus. It's on Sawyer Road, up above on the hill above the high school, where those solar panels have been for years in Beverly. There's a new affordable housing complex. They've actually opened one of the buildings with, I believe it's 37 apartments, opened it last year, and people are living there and moving in. They're building a second building with 38 more apartments. It's scheduled to open, I think, next year. This groundbreaking that I covered is for a third building on the campus. They call it the Lighthouse Center. It's basically a community center, but what's different about this is it's a place where they're going to offer services to the people who live in the two buildings. So classes, computer classes, say, workforce training, financial classes, probably most importantly, childcare. So, and at the ceremony, and this is all run by Harbor Light Homes, the affordable housing nonprofit based in Beverly, run by Andrew DeFranza, who's done affordable housing projects all around the North Shore. But they gave an example of what they would do. They've actually started doing this at Anchor Point. Was there was one resident, single mother of 2 kids, and they had a program in the building to become a certified nursing assistant, so she can take the classes right in the building where she lived. Those classes would be in this new center that they're about to open. And so she didn't have to worry about transportation and childcare and all that. And she actually has gotten a job with Beverly Hospital, which is literally right down the hill, down the street, that she can go to there. I mean, that's like the ideal situation. So it's this whole idea of you provide the housing, which is, people's number one need, but then there's all these services that are going to be part of it too, to help them get jobs and watch the kids. And so yeah, it's really unique. It's new for Harbor Light that they've gone to this.
My technology, my technical stuff this morning has been awful, and you've broken up a couple of times, but we got the gist. And I should warn people that sometimes my video just boom goes off inadvertently for no reason. I'm not touching anything. I have no idea why. It sounds like a very innovative program, Paul. And is there a lot of support maybe to continue or expand this?
Yeah, that's a good question. A key point about this Lighthouse Center is this is being paid for mostly through private donations. It's a fundraising campaign. So in other words, the actual apartments, a lot of it is it's funded by so many different sources, but the federal, state, and local government, the city of Beverly contributed money through the Community Preservation Act. And so I think, at least in this case, because this is so new to provide these types of services, at least the building, you need private fundraising. But I know that Andrew DeFranza, who runs Harbor Light Homes Agency, would love to, they would like to replicate this in other locations, but that's a good question, whether they're doing. So I don't think anything is in the works right now, but that's a good question as they continue to open new locations. This is their largest location, so it makes the most sense. That maybe if you have a building with 9 or 10 apartments, I'm not sure about the practicality of offering services, but anyway, I do think this is something that they would like to replicate.
Okay, you can see my video just went out, right?
Yeah, but we can hear you, Rick. Yes.
Oh my gosh. All right. I'm not going to try to fiddle with that. It just occurs to me that something like that, all these cities and towns that are going to MBTA zoning headaches or whatever it might be, discussions and arguments, that maybe they could duplicate something like that. It just sounds like such an innovative, excellent idea, in terms of filling in several needs at once.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, it's all a matter of the cost, right? And who's going to pay for it and how much the government and these other agencies can occur. But yeah, it does seem like a great idea. We'll have to follow it through and see. I'm sure they're going to measure the outcomes and see how effective these programs are. So we'll have to keep an eye on that.
This is why Bill and I were on radio. You can hear our voice, but you don't have to look at us. So
okay. I like it.
All right, let's turn to the 400th celebration upcoming for Beverly or Salem. Which one is it now?
Yeah, well, it's actually both are going to celebrate their 400th anniversary in 2026. So it's 2 years away. Salem has been working on this for quite a while, and they organized a committee to do it, and they've been working on it for a couple of years. But I wrote about it because Beverly is just getting going on this, and kind of the unusual thing about Beverly is I wrote a story a few years back and how a couple of people were upset because Beverly missed its chance to celebrate its 350th anniversary a few years back. I don't want to get confused over the years, but so now they're going to celebrate their 400th, but they've changed the date on which they're basing their anniversary, if this makes sense. But it's based on, the 400th is based on the year that 1624, when Roger Conant first arrived and what was then Naumkeag and the greater Salem area and so forth. So that's what Beverly has decided to do. They, previously they had pegged it on 1668, the year that Beverly became a town, was incorporated. So anyway, they kind of moved things back, but I still, it's still a legitimate date to celebrate an anniversary. And so they're just getting going on this. They have a lot of ideas, but they do need to raise money. They formed a nonprofit organization to do this. I know in Gloucester, Rick, right? They just finished celebrating their 400. So this has been going around in a lot of communities in Massachusetts in the last few years, and it will be in the next few years as well.
I know Discover Gloucester, Tess McColgan has been in touch with Destination Salem. They talk to each other. So maybe Salem and Beverly can get, some ideas. The one thing I was very impressed with, a lot of stuff with the Gloucester 400 plus, but one thing that I found very nice was the recognition of the indigenous peoples who lived here before, the people came over from England. And so it was called the Gloucester 400 plus, and it actually celebrated indigenous people going back 10,000 years ago. They found some things for people who lived in Gloucester and so on. And I thought that was very educational and very appropriate.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And I know Salem and Beverly are doing the same thing, and they're calling it their 400 plus also to to recognize that the Native Americans were here well before then. I mean, when you think about it, it's a little bit, we're celebrating an anniversary of then when the white Europeans arrived, but the fact that it is an opportunity to to educate people and to acknowledge to look at the history and study it. And I think that is really interesting too. And you know what, these are all volunteers who are doing this too. You have to, I mean, Salem and Gloucester, from what I understand, they hired somebody to help with these celebrations. Beverly is not going to do that, and it's a lot of work, and I give people credit for putting the efforts. I mean, if you think, it's 2 or more years of planning, so it is a lot of work, and it's good that people are taking that on.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun as a citizen, a resident of Gloucester. A lot of fun to follow all that stuff. For a lot of great celebrations. Okay, Paul, I guess finally some farm news.
Yeah. Yes, last week, or was it Farm in Beverly? And so this is the area off of up in North Beverly off of Cabot Street. Not it's had been a site of Project Adventure. There's a sustainable farming project that's up there. There's a school that's there, and so what's new now is the trustees of reservations. A couple of years ago, they purchased 66 acres, and they had owned other parcels. But the bottom line is they're piecing this all together, and a lot of this land is now open to the public. There are hiking trails that you can go through. There's a new entrance off of Cabot Street to the property across from Beverly Airport, where you can go in and access these hiking trails. There's another entrance that had been there that was kind of obscure on Conant Street in North Beverly, and you can access it there too. There's new signage there, so you can get in there and get on these hiking trails. There's a new community garden for Beverly residents. They had one for years on Cole Street in a neighborhood in Beverly. It's now been moved to Moraine Farm, and it's bigger. So it's this great property, open space. It borders on Wenham Lake, and now the public is going to have a lot more access to it and can go on the hiking trails. I haven't done that yet, but I'm excited to. I mean, I was on the property for the groundbreaking, but I'm excited to explore the trails and just see what's there.
Have you got new cross country running shoes?
Yeah, I try to stay on the roads and the tracks where it's flat, so I don't trip and fall.
Okay.
But no, I like to walk on the hiking trails. That's what I like to do. Yeah.
Good for you, Paul. Okay, I know it's a very busy time for you and for Caroline and the other staff members over there at the Salem News. What else might we look forward to in the coming weeks? Because summer is here. Today, as we record this, is the solstice, and there are many celebrations citywide and otherwise throughout the towns and cities in the area over the summertime.
Yeah, that's true. I'm trying to think of what's going on. I'm looking at my list of stories as we speak to see if tomorrow I'm going to an exhibit. There's a new exhibit opening at historic Beverly, the Historic Society in Beverly on, it's called Block by Block, naming Beverly, and it's gonna go into the names and the faces behind some of the streets and neighborhoods in Beverly. You know how a lot of even, like you grew up in Beverly and you say, Rantoul Street. Well, who was Rantoul? I
Yeah,
do know a
yeah.
little bit. It's Robert Rantoul, but it's gonna to explore the history behind some of the city's most well-known places and who are the people. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm gonna go see that tomorrow, and the story will be in next week. But
Okay,
as for the
I have a
yes,
suggestion for you. Do that in
yeah,
Gloucester too, will you? So we know who these people are in Gloucester.
yes. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, we'll expand our coverage even more. What about, we got to get Ethan on this, Ethan
Okay, there
Foreman,
you go. Oh,
like try to
good.
get the Gloucester Times, Yeah,
If he gets more work, don't use my name.
yeah. We
All
always love
right,
the
Paul.
ideas, Rick. Okay.
All right, we'll talk to you later. I'm going to see if we